Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we are continue as the faction overviews with today the Woodland Realm, the realm of Thranduil and Legolas, our most favorite elves of the Woodland Realm. Well, diving right into the starting regions. As the Woodland Realm, you start with two regions, Thranduil's Halls over here and Taufelin in the Elven Acres. So you are right in the forest of Mirkwoods, which has its advantages and disadvantages, as we will see further on in this region. So two starting regions, which is on the smaller size of all factions, because most of the time you are 3 to 4. So as the Woodland Realm, you have a smaller starting size. Then dealing with your starting army, which is not big either. In Thranduil's Halls, you have two units of woodland units that are your early tier units. Woodland Spearmen and Woodland Scouts, which is an archer unit. On Taufelin we have we have the same, so one unit of Woodland Scouts and one unit of Woodland Spearmen. And we have the Meter Etoile, which is a mid-tier strike unit. Very good. I think it's pretty cost-effective actually. So that are your starting armies. Then dealing with your bodyguards, you have two unique bodyguards. Thranduil, who is your faction leader, has Ar-Adunaim. I think it's pronounced Ar-Adunaim, which is a very strong archer unit. And Legolas has the, well, arguably a better archer, but a poor all-rounder, the Hinedar, which has armor-piercing, body-piercing arrows, which is really strong. I think, in my personal opinion, they shine best against armies of Dol Guldur, of Gundabad, who has not much armor. You can pierce through everything that they send against you. It's a really strong unit. So you don't have any bodyguards with, don't have any generals with regular bodyguards. So that is unfortunate. So we cannot show them off, but two unique bodyguards, two very strong bodyguards, who can, especially in the early tier, really help you out. Then, the family tree, you have one. It's a very small one. You have Thranduil and his wife Maldiril, and Legolas, who has a fictionary sister, Caladwen. Alright, so small family tree, but you do have one. Then dealing with the geographical areas. Well, we are in Mirkwood, and most of your campaign will play in Mirkwood, because it's kind of your duty to take all of Mirkwood, drive out Dol Guldur, and clear the forest. In terms of defensibility, well, Thranduil's Halls is very defensible, because there's actually only one entrance, and that's a small bridge over here. So there's only one way you can attack it. And that also makes sure that there is only one army that can attack it. Because with sieges, it works the way that they take into account the tile where the city is on, and then 3 up front, 3 is in the back, and the 2 directly on the side. So it's a 9 square battlefield actually, and with the bridge and the water, it's only possible to enter from one tile of all the 8 other tiles. So only one army can attack at a time. But do note, when you attack an army that is not sieging you but standing on the bridge, it's the bridge battle. It's barely the case, but it could be. So Thranduil's Halls, very defensible. Also very defensible map, if I remember well. But besides that, Taufelin is pretty open. There are a couple of ways through. You also can move through the forest, so Lothlorien, not that defendable. Thunderous Halls, very defendable. Do note that because you are in Mirkwood, you do have a penalty, and I think it's listed somewhere. Or maybe it's not listed for the elves, I guess. Maybe it's not for the elves. No. No, I don't... But normal armies do have a penalty in Mirkwood, because you will move slower than on other places. Now, the majority of Mirkwood, we can see it in the green books, will be forest, most likely. Except for the mountains of Mirkwood, which is Eminem Newfoundland, which is the region over here. That is mountainous, which makes sense because there's a big, huge, large mountain in there. So that is the geographical area you're in. Then continuing with expansion. Well, as you see, we are pretty surrounded by other factions. We have Witherboard to the north as rebel settlement, and to the southward we have Eminem Newfoundland, and there's here some castle. I think it's Ar-Adunaim, if I remember well, and more rebel settlements to the south. So it may also in combination with your victory conditions, it would make sense to go south. Because you do need to defeat Mordor and Dol Guldur, so you are in there to defeat the big enemies, the one directly on your borders, and, well, Sauron himself. You have to hold Barad-dûr, Dol Guldur, and Thranduil's halls, and only 20 regions. So it would make sense to go south, and it is the most likely way to go. Newfoundland will be for the taking. Most likely Ar-Adunaim as well, if you are quick enough. But do keep watch out for Gundabad, because they will most likely come for you. So expand to the south, but don't neglect the threat in the north. Especially in Lothlorien. It's not very likely they will come from Thranduil's halls, but it's not impossible. But not very likely. Alright, then dealing with custom battle maps. Well, you own one. Thranduil's halls is custom. Besides that, most of them belongs to your allies. Asgaroth, Dale, Erebor, Onazana is custom. Dane's Halls is custom, Bozical is custom, Gundabad is custom. But as I said, most of them belong to your allies, or are in a direction you preferably don't want to expand to. Because Gundabad, although they will come for you, it's not in your best interest to go after them. Because they're up north. It might be favorable if the Anduin will actually do something. You can triple. You can team up with both the Anduin and the dwarves and just crush them pretty quickly. So if you really want to deal with them, team up with the dwarves and the Anduin and deal with them early doors. Just for the sake you don't have to deal with them defending against them. But I would suggest you go south, take the towns here, and focus on Dol Guldur, because they are your main threat. So there are a few custom settlements up north, because that was what I was talking about, but they are not very likely to fight on. The first one you might encounter is Dol Guldur itself, the naked hill over here. And if you go further down south, Mordor has a few. those are the one you most likely to fight on. Then dealing with buildings and culture. As the elves, you are not restricted in any way for the castles or the cities. You don't need to unlock them. You are not accepted from any of them. So you can go all the way up to a large city. You don't have any unique recruitment system, unlike the high elves. You are a regular one, so you have stables, a barracks, and a range. To unlock your higher tiers, you only need a town hall for the archers, and also for the barracks. So that's nice and simple. Just the town hall line, and you can upgrade your barracks. You have a sea. You do have 2 tiers of seats, and you have 4 tiers of armor, of smithing. You are elves, so you are better smiths than other factions, but you are not on the same tier as the high elves or the dwarves. So you are good smiths, but you're not great smiths. Because I think that the high elves have 5 tiers and the dwarves have even 6 tiers. So you have more experience and skills in smithing than the normal human faction, but you're not as good smiths as the elves, as the high elves or the dwarves. You do have ports, but you don't have special ships. It's well known that elves are seafarers, but just as with the smithing, it's are the high elves, and you are not the high elves. You are like somewhat lesser elves than the high elves. If I remember the story well, but I could be wrong on that. The majority of the Woodland Realm didn't make the journey to Valinor, but remained in Middle-earth, and therefore didn't see didn't see the light of Valinor, and therefore are somewhat lesser elves than those who had seen it, which are the high elves. So therefore you see that certain things you are lesser than the high elves. One of them is also seafaring. You are not a seafaring nation, unlike the high elves. You are regular. You only use ships to trade with, and therefore you don't have the special elven ships. You just have the longship. Then continuing to, well, you're not restricted in farms. Only the dwarves are. You have 2 guilds, the Warriors Guild and the Dance Guild. You are one of the few who has the Dance Guild, and the Dance Guild is actually a pretty strong and very underestimated guild in my opinion, because they give some nice bonuses. First tier, grow bonus, public order bonus, and a culture bonus, which are 3 very, very nice and very strong bonuses, because growth is always good. More growth means more income. Do taxes means more wealth. Public order is very good if you have a city that's just conquered. Public order can be so hard in those cities, so this bonus is good, is so strong. And a culture increase bonus, same as the law bonus. New cities don't have your culture. You need to build it up. And besides the culture bonus, you can have the Dance Guild, and that is an extra bonus on your culture growth, which is really nice. And remember, these buildings can be built in every city. The second tier can only be built once in your whole faction. They give increased culture bonus. I think the law bonus is the same, yes. Culture bonus is the same, but an extra a public order bonus globally, which means that if you build this in Thunderous Halls, all cities in your whole realm will benefit by this bonus. So a really nice addition, and especially since you can only build one of one of the Great Dance Guild, um, it's a really nice bonus to have a global effect. Last, the Master Dance Guild. This one can only be built once in the whole world. I think there are not many factions that you share this guild with. I think it's a typical Elven guild, so Lothlorien might be able to build this one, and the High Elves. So only 2 factions you have competition with, so it is possible that you can build this one. And it just gives more of the same, so more public, more growth, more public order, more culture, and more public order worldwide. So if you build this in a newly conquered settlement, it will give you a 30% public order bonus, which is very strong. So a very, very, very strong guild in my opinion, and very underestimated. Then we have the Warriors Guild. First tier only gives a melee weapon bonus, and the second tier gives you a morale bonus, also global effect. And as much as I'm fan of the Dance Guild, I'm not as much fan of the Warrior Guild, because most of the times the bonuses are a little bit meh in my opinion. The melee weapon bonus is nice, but it's not game changing. The morale bonus, I barely noticed morale effects. While the Dance Guild, those bonuses, they are pretty good. So 2 guilds. You don't have much influence on which you get, but just so you know what their bonuses are. Then dealing with art. Art is your culture and your cultural building. So that's 3 tiers. Art studio normally only gives 1% bonus, but I think because it's in a forest or a certain environment, it gives an extra bonus. The second tier gives 3% bonus, and the third tier 5%, and an increase in tradable goods, which will boost your income. And that's why I say that those culture builders can be pretty strong, and an increase in tradable goods is a really nice addition. Entertainment, that's just your tavern line. The town hall, 5 tiers. This is the building you need to upgrade your barracks and ranges. Well, besides that, there is not much to tell. I think there are a few I should mention later on, but not for now. So, building-wise, not much restriction. Good, in my opinion, one very good guild and one little less. So that is dealing with the buildings. Then we go to the scripts. And the Woodland Realm has more than one. It used to have only one, but they changed it. They put a small script in the faction, which if I didn't look for it in the changelog, I wouldn't even notice. And that we will start with the first smaller script, because that will kick in earlier. If by turn 11, or from turn 11 on, I think it is. I don't think if you don't meet the condition at turn 11, you will be... the script will be abandoned. I think from turn 11 on, if you own 4 settlements, you will get a free general. Orthodir, who has Elven King Gateguard, which is one of your elite units, who will come help for you. It's been portrayed as an advisor for both Thranduil and Legolas, and he will support you in the wars to come. But it's a free general, and with a very, very good late tier unit. So that will be... he will be spawned if by turn 11 you will own 4 regions or more. So, Eminem, Funen, and Arendollen are most likely. And if you own more, I think at least 4, and from turn 11 on. So he will spawn, and he will spawn here nearby Thranduil's Halls. The second script, which is a larger script and will take more turns to complete, is the Elven Union script. And I had to look it up how it exactly works, and there are still a few question marks there, because not everything was clear for me. But it works. Basically, it works as followed. Before turn 45, you need to send a diplomat to Lothlorien and ally with them. It will, unlike most other factions, you will very likely be able to ally with them quite easily. For several reasons. I think the threshold to accept the alliance between the Woodland Realm and Lothlorien has been lowered. You share the same culture. You have a common ally, common enemies. So you do like each other already. So it's pretty easy to form an alliance. You have to do that before turn 45. At turn 45, you will be notified by a message that Lothlorien have figured out that Mordor wants to attack you. Then you have 4 years, 5, right? Or 8 turns. 8 turns, I think. To prepare yourself for the attack of Thranduil's Halls. The Mordor army will be pretty challenging, so get some good units there. Then you will be sieged. They will attack you. And when the battle is over, the script continues. Before the battle starts, just at the moment you get the message, they say, Mordor is going to attack you. Do you want our assistance? If you accept it, you will be rewarded with a couple of units. So then you fight the battle. If you win or lose, the script continues. It continues with a message like, "Oh, we fought really well. Would you like to strengthen our bond?" And then you have the option to merge together. So all generals and all towns will flip to you. Lothlorien will basically be destroyed, and you will gain all their armies and all their generals. If you decide to accept it, you will also get access to 4 units of Lothlorien, which are the Galadrim Swordsmen, the Galadrim Guard, the Lorien Scouts, and the Sentinels of Saranamrad, which is a nice addition towards your roster. Especially, in my opinion, the Sentinels, the Lorien Scouts, and the Galadrim Guard, because they will fill in some blanks you have in your roster. You'll be able to train them, and that is where the script ends. If you decide to reject the alliance, you will have access to a building called Yavanna's Garden, which gives you a lot of bonuses and can be built in, if I'm right, Thranduil's Halls, Dol Guldur, and Caras Galadon. So the 3 main settlements of the Woodland Realm and Lothlorien. It gives you 10 recruitment slots, which is incredible much. I didn't notice that. That means that don't even know there are 10 slots. There are only 9 slots in the game, so apparently you get 10, but there are only 9, so I'm not sure about that. You get 3 free upkeep, improved roads and trade. That sounds really good as well. Extra experience, extra culture, amplifies the conversion to the elven culture by 50% global effect. I think this means that conversion to elven culture will go easier. That is good as well. Increased population growth. Everywhere in the world you get one free upkeep and one recruitment slot. Just a really good bonus. Besides that, you will be able to train the Ar-Adunaim everywhere. Because as far as I'm aware of, it can only train in Tanural's Halls or Ammulang. And you need to reject the alliance. I think if you accept the alliance, you will still be able to train them, but only in Tanural's Halls and Ammulang. And if you reject it, you will be able to train them everywhere. I think that's the way the new script worked, because they did change it slightly to make rejecting the alliance more rewarding. But do note, where is it? This building also allows you to train Ents, so you will be able to train Ents in Tanural's Halls, Dol Guldur, and Khaz Galadon, which is way more than in a regular game, because then you can only train them in Isengard. So it is really rewarding to reject the alliance now. That is, in a short version, the Sylvan Alliance. I think there was one more script, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, the Ents. I already mentioned it. You can train the Ents, but only in Isengard. So that is the campaign side of the Woodland Realm. Personally, I really liked the Woodland Realm. It was one of my first campaigns I played for YouTube, and it went on quite a long time. And the quality of the campaign was not as good as my campaigns are today. It was my first, and I had to learn a lot of things. Quality of the video wasn't as great. Quality of my microphone wasn't as great. But it was a really fun campaign, and it was, in my opinion, pretty challenging as well, because the towns in Mirkwood, although they are most like your most logic way to expand to, they are not very wealthy, so you will really struggle with finances, and the elven armies are expensive. Elven armies are more expensive than, for example, Dalian or Anduin forces. Because you are elves, you have less soldiers, you have higher upkeep. Quality-wise, you are better, but you can only field smaller armies, which could be a great challenge. But I really enjoyed the Woodland Realm. I would really advise you to give it a try, especially if you like to play with archers, because we are elves. These are the elves. They are one of the best archers in the game. So really try it out if you want to give it if you really like the archers, is what I'm trying to say. But for now, I will end the campaign overview, and let's go to the battle map, and I will see you there. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the battle map of the Woodland Realm. And as we see in a quick overview, we see that we are limited in Archfire. And I just see I put our elites the wrong way. Because we have a few options in the Archfire, but we will see that our archers are actually pretty good. And we have a good number of infantry. So without further ado, and we have a special unit over there. I say now. But without further ado, let's just dive in with our first unit, the Woodland Warriors. Our first, a low tier mainline infantry unit with a 9 attack, a 6 defense, and 6 charge, and a 30 defense. They will be able to hold themselves. You see that their numbers are a little bit higher than normally on the early tier unit, but there are way less of them. So we will see that in most early tiers, we have less soldier than a battalion, but we are quality-wise better. We have better stats. So we only have 114 elves in our low tier units, which is not much, because I think most a regular human faction has around 150 men in a battalion on this tier. So we are way below that. And we see that that is reflected in our better stats to be able to match with them. We are the Woodland Realm, so most of our units are adept in hiding in the woods. We have good morale response. We are 20% faster than other infantry units. We do like the forest and the snow, which also means the winter snow, by the way. So also in the winter time we have a small terrain bonus, but we don't like the barrens. Just a regular sword and board unit. They are supported by a more defensive unit, the Woodland Spearmen, who has less defense, less attack, more defense. 7 attack, 6 charge, and 15 on the defense. They're spears, so they're skilled against mounts, adept in hiding in the woods, good morale response, 50% bonus on speed, and a bonus against horses, camels, wargs, and the black mounts of the Ulari. Those are, for example, the horses of Kamul Shadow Guard, Shadow Knights, the Shadow Knights. So they have a bonus fighting against them. Then we are supported by 2 range units, and the first one is a javelin unit, the Woodland Wardens, with a 7 attack, an 8 missile attack, a 7 charge, and a 13 defense. They are comparable to the Woodland Warriors, but then with javelins. They are adept in hiding in the woods, skilled against mounts with their javelins. They have very good morale response, 50% bonus in speed. Also bonus against camels, wargs, horses, and elephants with their javelins. They have 4 javelins, 65 meters range, and a high accuracy. So they are like a better version of the Woodland Warriors. Then we have our first archer unit, the Woodland Scouts, with a 5 attack, a 6 missile attack, and a 4 charge, and an 8 defense. They are really good early tier archers. In most cases we have seen so far, if a missile attack is over 3 in the first tier, it's a really good archer. You start with 6. So that is really, really good. And you have good morale response, 20% movement bonus, 20 missiles, 180 meter range, and an average accuracy. Do note that an average accuracy for an elven unit is better than an average accuracy for a human unit or an orcish unit, because elves are better archers in general, so that is reflected in their accuracy. Also, a 180 meter range is above average for an early tier archer. We have seen, for example, with I think the Valesman has 160. I've seen early tier units with 150. So also our range is better overall. So a good archer unit. Now we will deal with our first cavalry unit. And as you see, both of our cavalry units are horse archers. And we first start with the Woodland Horse Archer. With a 7 melee attack, a 6 missile attack, a 3 charge, and an 8 defense. They are just Woodland Scouts? Yeah, Woodland Scouts on horses. So they have good morale response, 10% movement bonus. They have more missiles, less range with 30 missiles and 140 meter range, and high accuracy. So in general, horse archers has less range because they can't wield large bows, but they can carry more missiles, and that is reflected in these stats. Then dealing with our mid-tier units. Do note there are some Lothlorien units in between in these tiers. If you decide to accept the alliance, I haven't placed them in because I will deal with them in the Lothlorien overview. So today only Woodland Realm, and we start with this unit, because you start at a game with one of them. The Metire Terroir. It means Warriors of the Forest. It's stated down here. And with an 11 attack, 9 charge, and 17 defense, they are a good mid-tier units. But they are armor piercing, which make them a really good unit. They have these big axes, which seems not a very likely weapon for an elf, but I have heard that Tolkien specifically stated that the elves prefer to fight with axes instead of swords. So, really nice. Just good mid-tier charge unit with a very good morale response. Again, 50% movement bonus. And, well, besides that, nothing special, but just a good, solid unit. They are supported by a more defensive unit. The Elder Council is also a Javelin unit, so you already have 2 Javelin units. With an 11 attack. Whoa, that's pretty high actually for a spear unit. An 11 missile attack, which is armor piercing, and a 7 charge. They will perform very good with both ranged and melee wise. They have a 20 defense, keeping them alive for a pretty long time. They are adept in hiding the woods, skilled against mounts, with I think both their javelins and their spears. The effectiveness against armor is only applied to the javelins. They have a very good morale response, 50% bonus on speed. A bonus against camels, walks, horses, and elephants because they are spears, and for the javelins. They have 3 missiles, 65 meters on the range, and high accuracy. So a good defensive unit. Will help you very much with killing enemies as well. Just like normally, spear units don't tend to kill that much. They are very good at holding the lines, but not at killing enemies. Most of the time you do need to do that by charging another unit in the flanks and get them killed the enemies. But these guys, I think, stat-wise, they should perform very well. Then we are supported by the second unit of archers, the Woodland Sentinels. With an 8 melee attack, an 8 missile attack, a 5 charge bonus, and a 40 defense. They are a direct upgrade from the Woodland Scouts. They have very good morale response, 20% movement bonus, 26 missiles, 200 meter range, and a high accuracy. So your second archer unit already reach high accuracy and 200 meter range. Those are the 2 things, in my opinion, which are most important for an archer. I prefer archers who have less damage with a longer range. Because as long as the enemy can't hit you, you will kill. And they don't. So I prefer range over raw attack stats. So I really like these guys. Because there are not much archers that can reach over 200 meters. And especially not much evil archers that can reach over 200 meters. I think the Temple Marksman can reach over 200, but I'm not even sure about that. The Lothlorien can reach 200, so there are not much evil factions who have that range. Right. Then we will deal with them first. They are kind of lined up as elite, but they should be a little bit more down here. But then they are too close on the woodland horse archers, so I put them somewhere behind here. And this is the Artirichon. I think it's pronounced Artirichon. And they are again a horse archer unit with an 8 attack, an 8 missile attack, a 5 charge, and 14 defense, making them mounted woodland sentinels. They have a very good morale response, 10% movement bonus, 34 missiles, 150 meter range, and high accuracy. Yes, I guessed it right. So just a direct upgrade from the woodland horse archers with more missiles, more range, and more damage. They're dealing with your elite units, not them, these guys. We have 3 units, and they are the Elven King units, starting with the Elven King X-Guard, a sword and board unit, with a 10 attack, an 8 charge, and a 26 defense. They are pretty solid units. I see that these guys are armor piercing. I don't think they used to be. I think that is new in version 5. I think they used to be a regular sword and board unit without armor piercing stats. But that's a nice addition towards your towards the rest of their stats. They have excellent morale and it's locked, which means they will not run away and they will fight to the death. They have good morale response, 10% movement bonus. They are just good late tier infantry. They are supported with the Elven King Gate Guard. This is the unit you get from what's his name? Orthodeum. This the guy that will come in the 11th turn if you have 4 regions. They have a 17 attack, a 10 charge, and a 21 defense, making them really good striking infantry. And they have these glaive-like things. A really cool weapon, actually. They kind of double-sided swords or something. Really nice. Is it stated what they carry? I don't think it is. Double-bladed glaives. Really nice. These guys are skilled against mounts. Again, excellent morale and locked. Good morale response, 10% movement bonus, and a bonus fighting against horses, camels, and wargs. And a really cool looking unit. I really like these armors. Are really detailed and really nicely done. I really like them. They're aesthetically wise, the Elven King units are really good. Then dealing with the last, the Elven King Bowguard with an 11 melee attack, a 10 missile attack, a 10 charge bonus, and a 19 defense. They are reliable in both archery and melee fighting. They don't have the special stats as their infantry focused counterparts does, but they are just good archers. They have excellent morale and locked. As for all the Elven King units, good morale response, 10% bonus in movement. Again, we see the bonus against the Black Mounts of the Ulari. They have 32 missiles, 220 meter range, and a very high accuracy. So very good archers. Then dealing with you, well, really uber elites. We have 2 of them. The Ar-Adunaim, which is the bodyguard of Tandruil, with a 15 melee attack, an 11 missile attack, a 10 charge, and a 26 defense. They are up with a real elite. They have armor piercing melee weapons, because they carry these big axes on their backs. So the melee weapon is armor piercing. The archers, the arrows are not. They have unwavering morale and it's locked, so they will not run away. Please watch out for that. Tandruil will fight to the death. They have good morale response, some movement bonus, bonus against the mounts of the Ulari, 32 missiles, 220 meter range and high accuracy. So they are an even more powerful Elven King Bogard. But there are less of them, so they can be swamped more easily. Then dealing with the Hinidar, one of my favorite units, and the bodyguard of Legolas, with an 11 melee attack, a 12 missile attack, a 5 charge and a 40 defense. These guys are more archers than melee fighters. In comparison, for example, to the Eret, they have way less armor. They are on armor levels, they are on the first tier, on the militia tier units. Even the Council Guard, the Elder Council and the Woodland, well, they are on the same level as the Woodland Sentinels. But what these guys really shine are the Silverthorn arrows. The Silverthorn arrows pierce to multiple targets, so really strong attribute, because these guys can easily rack up to 600 kills with only this unit. Really good unit. Excellent morale, but not locked. So you can save, Legolas if you want, and if you need to. And a good morale spawns 20% bonus on speed, only 20 missiles, but 240 meter range and an exceptional accuracy. Exceptional is the highest tier of accuracy you can get, and it is an Elven unit, so these are really good unit. Really good archers. And Hinadao means Eyes of the Forest, which is, I really like that they explain what the units mean, because for someone who doesn't speak the Elven tongue like most of us, I guess, it's really nice to know what the words means. Alright, then we have the Ar-Adunaim. If I pronounce it well? I'm not sure. It means Wood Elves High Elders. Alright. This is your general unit, so this is your regular general, regular bodyguard. It's an archer unit with an 11 melee attack, an 11 missile attack, an 8 charge, and a 27 defense. And there's a smaller version of the Elven King Bogard. They have excellent morale and it's locked, so you can't let them run away. Good morale response, 20% movement bonus. Bonus against the Black Mounts of the Ulari, 32 missiles, 220 meter range, and an exceptional accuracy. So their accuracy is even better than the Elven King Bogard. And so you have a very good general. They tend to perform really well, more than you might expect. And then we have one last unit to deal with, and I'm not really sure. I think this is also a unit you will get once with what has to do with the Elven Union script, but I'm not really sure because I didn't saw it listed. And it's most likely you train them with in the siege building, and that's why I didn't notice them until I start to make up my army for this overview. The end catapult, well, the stats for the catapult are most likely the same, but the defense points are for the ends. So they have a 29 total defense and they have 4 hit points. But they are vulnerable to archer fire because they don't have a shield, and most of the defense is in defense skill. But they are skilled against mounts, they are effective against armor, they frighten nearby enemies. So that also counts for the ends. Because I think most of these abilities are because it are the ends. So overall, it seems like a small roster. It is a small roster, but there are some additions with the Elven Union script, and you have a pretty powerful roster. So this is for the Woodland Realm for version 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something. And for next week, we have a new faction. And that is... take a look at it now. I'm past the game and I really want to use catapult. Watch out what we see. Well, we see right away. It's a huge giveaway, and I didn't notice it. The siege weapons over there, the blue. We already had one of the. We already had a similar faction with a lot of blue in there. We have the huge trebuchets, which is, well, the biggest giveaway actually there is. We have next week, we will be facing Gondor. With the Citadel Guard. I think they have 2 units of them. The regular infantry. The Minas Ithil Guardians. There are a lot of cool units in Gondor's roster. And a lot of variety. Unlike, for example, the Elves that was way less. Oh, that's something wrong. Right, then we have to end it that way. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you soon in another video of Divide and Conquer. But until then, goodbye.